Hello, everybody. Welcome to Marz. And this is actually the first time I'm going live with you guys. And I am joined here today with not only my best friend and sidekick and travel partner in crime, love of my life, but Gina is here with me today. And everyone say hi to Gina.
Hello everyone. I'm present.
We decided to do our Italy recap. We wanted to go live because I feel like us talking about Italy is going to be much more theatrical in video rather than just listening to us talk about it. So if you're here joining us today, welcome. I'm a little bit under the weather today. I am just a little phlegmy. So I've got a bit of a raspy voice kind of going on.
It's cute.
So we're here. We're ready. Now, we're sad we're home. Italy's got it all figured out, let me tell you. All figured out. There's no road rules.
No, nothing.
There's no laws when it comes to drinking in public. There's, what else would you say?
They have a nap in the middle of their workday.
Yes.
They get a little bit of a break in their workday. That was pretty cool.
That is one thing that I wish that we could do. Just a quick nap before, we hit the town. Now, in Italy, we're going to get into the whole trip. We're going to start from the moment we got to the airport to the end of the trip. But in Italy, it's very similar to Vegas and Miami. People don't go out until like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and things stay open quite late. So I really enjoyed that because I prefer to go out later in the evening sometimes. Other than that, I like to be home and in bed by 10.
Sure.
All right, we're going to get started on our Italy recap. And before we do, we're going to do a little cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to Marz, Gina.
Thanks.
All right. So how long have we been back for now? 2 weeks? We've been back for 2 weeks now.
Must have been.
We had this trip planned for a few months, and we went on the 22nd of September.
23rd?
I don't know, somewhere around those days. Now, I am an extremely terrible flyer, and I was so nervous about this flight, stressed. Like I'm actually getting anxiety thinking about it right now. I'm bad at it. I told Gina, I was like, these are the rules. We're going to stay up for a couple hours, and then we're going to take some gravel, and we're going to sleep.
It's shocking because the amount of flights she has been on is a ton. And every time we fly, she's like... okay, let's go. I'm like, oh.
I full-blown panic. I go into panic mode. It's not my thing. So we took a couple gravels, and lo and behold, we actually slept for about 5.5 hours.
Yes, but before we got on the flight, what were you doing as soon as we got to the airport?
I don't know, stressing.
She's packing her bag.
Oh, yeah.
I roll up to the airport. She's like there, and she's in the middle of the airport where everybody's checking in. Her bag's wide open. She's putting stuff in. She's sitting on it. She's doing it up. I'm like, we were supposed to only bring limited stuff so we could buy stuff there. And she's like, I just can't. I'm just putting this in here. Let's go.
Okay, so before that happened, when I left my house, I had already forgotten a few things. I forgot my toothbrush, and I didn't bring a pair of flip-flops. So the trip was already off to like a shitty, like hectic start. When I got to the airport, I had like running shoes, and I had an extra coat, and I was carrying it, and I didn't want to carry it. So there's a video. Do you still have that video?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll show you guys that later. But anyways, the start of the trip was already hectic. Now, we only did carry on, so that limits your stuff. And when you're going for such a long time in Italy, for two people who have never been, you need options. You need shoes, you need clothes. We did packing cubes, but...
they worked.
Yeah.
They kept all of our clothes together.
Did we have to throw out anything?
Almost throughout
my beach cover up,
but no, we came back with everything.
I'm actually quite surprised.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
The flight, amazing. It was 10 hours.
Yeah,
it felt quicker than Vegas.
It honestly felt like it's actually kind of crazy to say this, but I was thinking about that. I was like, it felt like a shorter flight going all the way over there than it would be to go to Toronto.
Yeah. Totally.
Because we slept for 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
So anyways, so we land in, oh my God. We land in Rome. And so the best part about us sleeping 5.5 hours is we woke up, there was 2 hours of the flight left, and we both we took makeup wipes and we refreshed ourselves. So by the time we landed, we were good to go. You're not feeling tired. We weren't feeling anything. So we get off the flight, go through customs, which customs in Rome was so quick. They didn't even say 2 words to you. Just grab your passport, stamped it, and had you on your way. I wish customs was always like that. And
It is for most people.
it was like that for me when I came back.
Yeah.
No one said 2 words to me when I
too.
came back.
She said something in Italian, and I was like, oh, what?
No,
and
like,
she's like,
when I got back to Canada, no one said
yeah.
anything to me. Like,
Yeah.
not even a word.
Well,
Like,
that's
I handed.
not you.
No, it's not. I
it's not like
usually
you.
am.
Especially if you're coming home alone.
I know. Okay, so anyways, so all we wanted was an iced coffee. Okay, we just wanted a nice iced coffee. Now, for people who have been to Italy or are listening, are probably like, "Oh my God, you don't order iced coffee in Italy." You don't. It's what is it? It's called something.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't call it iced coffee. They just don't know what it means. So Gina's trying to order us 2 coffees, and she's like, 2 iced coffee? Like, Gina just trying to she's like, ice cubes?
Yeah, like cold coffee, and they're like, and they pointed to this like almost like a slushy machine, like, but it had like coffee gelato in it, and so they're like this, and we taste it, and we're like, yeah, this tastes great. We get it, and they're these little cups, and they have spoons. So we have all our luggage, and we're trying to get to our Airbnb, and now we have an ice cream in a cup with a spoon. So Allie's obviously like, rushing to get to wherever we need to go. We need to find a taxi. We need to go this. And like, we're trying to eat our ice cream. So it wasn't ideal.
It was the dumbest thing. So we're in Italy for 40 minutes and we've already made 1 mistake. Now, this is where the trip takes a turn and we've only been there for 45 minutes. Okay. We're trying to decide if we want to take an Uber, a cab, or a train to city center. Now, obviously, the train is the cheapest option because it's €7. A cab is €50, and an Uber was €70. Now, we weren't paying the 70 because that's like 120 Canadian. There's no way. So we get in the cab line. Now, there is actively 50 people ahead of us in this line. Like, the lineup's huge, obviously. Like, this huge plane just came in with 300 people. So this man approaches us
with like a lanyard on. With
no,
like
that was the second guy that had the lanyard.
Oh, right.
This was like the older, the younger of the 2.
Yeah.
Do you remember? He's like, you 2.
Yeah, he's like, taxi, you 2, and we're like, yeah, that's what we're standing in line for. However, we're at the back of the line.
Yeah.
So we're unsure why he's chosen us to get in a taxi. So whatever, we're going with it.
So I'm skeptical because all that's going through my head is being kidnapped, human trafficking. Like, I was so nervous. I was like, Gina, I don't know. Like, we're at the back of the line and this guy is trying to like bring us into a cab. And she's like, no, it's fine. He said cab. And I was like,
and like, I just thought he was going to take us across the street to
because there were 2 cab lineups. There was one across the street that was longer. But then another gentleman comes up to us. It's like he passed.
Yeah, he like traded off, and now this other guy's walking with us, and we're like,
and he's the one with the lanyard.
And he is a lanyard, right?
And he was being really, really, really sketchy. Like, he was like, I don't think this man ever smiled, and he was like staring at Gina and I, like had his arms crossed and like was like looking us up and down. And that's when I started getting a really bad feeling. I was like, this isn't right. This isn't right, Gina. She's like, well, let's just see where he takes us. And
so like we walk across the street and now we're passing the second cab line. And I'm like, are you like private car? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, limousine.
Private car. Then he
like,
said that. He said that too.
And we're like, well, no, we don't want that. We want to take a taxi. He's like, yeah, come.
And then he was like, €60.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, the cabs are 50. He's like, no, they're not. And then on the cab, it says €50 to city center. So anyway, that's when he starts taking us on this up ramp and then going towards the parkade. And I was like, no, Gina, that's a fucking no. We're not going. We're going back to the cab line. And then we said no. And he just rolled his eyes
and kept walking.
Yeah.
Went right into the like car park. And we're like, okay, so now we've got to get back into the long taxi line.
Yeah.
Or I suggested, let's take a train. And Allie goes, I don't take trains. I'm not going on a bus. And I'm like, I wait. And then like we get inside and look how long the cab line is. And I'm like, come on, let's go take the train. There was like a QR code on the wall, which is what we
Which
thought.
was in Italian. So all we're doing is like, oh, there's a QR code. Let's just scan it and see what happens.
Yeah, all in Italian. We didn't change. I don't know. We didn't even look into it. We're like, oh, this looks great. And we thought it was going to the station we had to go to. So we purchased our 2 tickets. We're like, oh, that was so easy. All on our phone. We get up to the train, try to get through the doors. We scan our QR code. Doesn't open. We're like, oh my God. And the train leaves in like
3 seconds.
Yeah, like it's like 3 minutes away from leaving. So she's very much so panicking. I'm like, okay, like let's just ask this lady. There's an info booth. I'm like, our codes aren't working. She's like, I don't know what this ticket is for.
She was such a bitch. Like she gave us the dirtiest look, like we were idiots.
Yeah, she's like, this isn't a train ticket. This is a bus ticket. Go buy a different ticket. We're like,
so now we're panicking again because now the actual train leaves in 4 minutes. So we go running over to like the little booth and Gina's like trying to like get through like on the booth. She puts her language to English, but she's trying to get through it as quick as possible. I'm like, buy 2 tickets, I'll send you the money. And so she's trying, but it doesn't work.
I would try to add a ticket. It would not add it. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'll pay for mine. You're going to buy your ticket. So Allie comes into the machine and she thinks she's got it. She's looked at all the buttons I pushed. She's like, this is great. Leaves it in Italian. And once you start going, you can't go back and change the language. So she is panicking. She is yelling. She's like, I can't figure this out. I'm like, why did you leave it in Italian? Why did you change it to English? She's like, I don't know. Stop yelling at me. And so we're having a domestic. And then now the train leaves in 1 minute. And like her card won't work. And I'm trying to tap my card. And then like some guy comes in and just like pushes the buttons and we pay. We get our ticket. We get on the train. First of all, the train is empty at this point.
No, you forgot the best part. We're not done. No, she missed the best part. What did we do? We bought first class tickets because we were like, oh, first class will give us a drink. We'll have like, a snack. This 30-minute flight into city center, no worries. Like first class was obviously the better option. So we get onto the train and fucking step on it, which we thought it was leaving right away. There was no one on it. So now we have to wait another 20 minutes for this train to leave. What do? Get on this train and we have all our luggage. So I was like, Gina, go find first class. What does she do? She's like, there's no first class.
Like,
it's all
the way down.
seats.
It's all the same. And we're the only people on the train. We're like, okay.
So yeah. So then what do? We picked the worst seats on this train.
Any seat we could choose from, but no, we picked a seat where it like barely had a window and you could barely see outside, and we were facing the wrong way. So we had all the seats to choose from. We just sat down and we're just like sitting there, like shook.
So not only were we rushing around, and we are now sitting on this train for now 20 minutes while we wait for everyone else to board. Finally, the train gets moving, and Gina and I are like taking up 2 seats each, and there's people standing, but like my biggest I was all about the pickpocketing. I was so nervous someone was going to steal my bag. I was so nervous someone was going to, like, I was like,
every time we did anything, she had her little fanny pack or she had a bag, she had a lock on it. She'd go put her phone in there, she'd lock it up. I'm like, Allie, stop locking your bag. And she's like, oh, I have to unlock it. I need to get my phone out.
I had to unlock my bag probably like 100 times a day because I just was so worried. Fucking TikTok told me there were pickpocketers everywhere, and Rome's famous for pickpocketing. And here I am thinking I'm sitting on the train with my luggage is going to get pickpocketed while it's in front of me. And I was just so sketched the whole time.
To be fair, neither of us got pickpocketed.
We didn't get pickpocketed. So. Nobody did. But I would be walking around with my fanny pack in front of me, and I'm holding on to this fanny pack for dear life while we were walking around
with
the city.
Like 3 locks on it. And she's just like...
with nothing in it because my phone was in my hand, and I had maybe 20 euros every time we went out and my credit card. So it's like I wasn't really at risk of losing like my passport or something like that. Anyways, so we finally get to city center, and now that we're in city center, we need to get a cab to go to our Airbnb because it was about a couple blocks away, but with all of our luggage, we didn't want to have to like lug it all the way to our Airbnb. So we get to the cab line finally, and these 2 Italians are arguing over who gets to take us. There's a lady and a man, and they're screaming at each other like, what? Obviously an Italian probably saying, no, I'm taking them. No, I'm taking them. And their hands were flailing all over the place. Finally, we get in with this lady. She was so nice and drops us off at our Airbnb. Like we got there 5 minutes later?
Yeah, it was super close.
So we get dropped at the top of this cobblestone staircase, and we were trying to figure out what door is our Airbnb. And it has a lockbox, but like all of them have lockboxes because there's probably a lot of people that Airbnb their places. So we're like, okay, do we go to the bottom of the stairs? And I have wedges on. Like I'm wearing heels that are this high.
Yeah, Allie's got her heels on. It cobblestones all her luggage. We'll post a video of it later. So we decide, okay, it's an apartment. You probably get on from the like main level from the street. So we carry all our things downstairs. Allie's furiously texting the host, like, where are you? How do I get in? And he's not replying. And so we're like, oh my God, how are we supposed to get in this Airbnb? Finally, we call him and he's like, oh yeah, like I'm just the door at the top of the steps.
So we've now carried all of our luggage downstairs, and I've hobbled it down with all of my wedges on. Took me about 5 minutes to get down these stairs. Now I have to lug all my luggage back up. Now you're probably asking yourself, why didn't you just change your shoes? Because they were in the bottom of my bag. The last thing I was going to do was open up my bag and change my shoes because we were already there. Whatever, it was fine. So finally our Airbnb host comes outside, lets us in, and we get down into, so we did Airbnbs the entire time we were in Italy. We did one hostel one night, and we did a private room, so we didn't actually have to share with anybody. But we did a lot of like stay in so-and-so's room because it's got like, you know, a private lock and all that stuff. So we get into our first Airbnb, and like we're there, we lug our luggage all the way downstairs, and his friend is there. And they're like in the kitchen cooking dinner. And me and Gina were like, we were ready to just change, get ready and go. Cause our first Airbnb was right across the street from the Coliseum. And they were like, we cooked you dinner. Or like, I guess it was lunch more so. Cause we got in around 1.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're like, we cooked for you, a welcome. And we were
welcome
like,
meal. We're like, oh, this is great.
Oh.
Because it was just literally like a room with like a padlock on it. And we're like, okay.
So they're like, cookies like 20 minutes. So Gina and I are like, okay, well, that gives us time to freshen up because we'll eat and then we'll bounce. We have this, whatever, we get ready in our room, but we've got this little tiny mirror, and it was no joke, probably the size of these 2 phones.
And it's also like almost on the floor. So we have to sit on the floor to like do our makeup, do our hair. And it's tiny. So like Allie can put her face in the mirror, and then she's got to move so I can put my face in. So we're like fighting over this mirror.
It was so tiny, but the best part was that it was literally pinned to the wall at that height. Like it was on the wall on the floor. Like it made absolutely no sense. But anyways, we made it work. So finally they're like, oh, dinner, it's ready. It's ready. So we go, and they're like, sit. And they're like, wine? And we're like, of course.
Might as well.
So they open up a bottle of wine for us, and then they like, you know, put it down, feed us some wine, and then give us dinner. Or I keep calling it dinner, but it was lunch, whatever. Anyways.
And it turns out his friend is actually a chef up in Venice.
Yes.
So that's where he came from. So the food, it was one of my favorite meals.
I think it still was my favorite meal.
Yeah, like regardless of how much pasta we ate. Oh,
it was so good. Like, and all that was going through my head was like, oh my God, this is like authentic. We're getting authentic Italian cooking, like, which is just so rare, especially to come from an Airbnb host. Like they probably don't always do that, but like we felt a little special. So anyways, they made us like a spaghetti. It was like al dente with pancetta. And Gina and I have recently just discovered pancetta. And do you think people know that it's like the cheek?
No, nobody knows. We didn't even know.
It's the cheek.
It's a pig's cheek
of a pig. So anyways, the way he cooked this pancetta was like so good.
Fluffy bacon and like little pieces.
And it was like crispy, but also fluffy. Like, it was so good that literally 2 nights ago, I made my boyfriend make me pancetta with pasta because I was like, I need it. I need more pasta. Wasn't the same, but it was still really good.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then as we're like eating, they asked Gina. I think Gina was kind of understanding a little bit more because they had such strong Italian, like.
Yeah, and like one of them didn't really speak much English.
Yeah.
Like his English was very broken. The other one spoke a bit more English, but like still he'd said like he had learned English from like a taxi driver growing up
in somewhere else.
Anyways,
he like has lived all over the world, but anyways, so they ask if we know this singer, and obviously we didn't, and they're like, okay, we'll put it on. So they put it on like their little speaker, whatever, and they start singing to us in Italian.
It was amazing. We've got our wine, we've got our pasta, and we have these 2 Italian men just singing to us in Italian. We're like looking at each other. We're like, I'm just gonna pinch
like,
you.
how is this our real life right now? It was the craziest thing. It was so funny. So anyways, we finished eating, and then we were just talking about how much we really liked the wine that they had served us. And they're like, you want another bottle? And we were like,
oh, like we don't open a bottle just for us to have a glass. And they're like, huh. And they open another bottle, and we all have a glass, and here's 2 bottles down and dinner. And we're like, okay, like we want to go explore.
Yeah, like an hour in, we're just hanging out with our Airbnb hosts. Like they were just the nicest, like older gentlemen, like just very like hospitable. And it was like, it was so good. It was such a great start to like being somewhere we've never been before. So anyway, then finally we ended up going for a little sightseeing tour.
Yeah, what did we do?
We went to the Coliseum right away.
Yeah.
And then
And of course, we don't want to book any tours because we're just kind of just going with the flow. So every time we got to like something to see, we'd find a plaque. And so I'd either make Allie read it or I would read it. And then we'd read this plaque and like learn the history. But if then we couldn't find a plaque, we'd look it up on our phone.
Yeah.
And so we'd stand there educating each other on whatever we're seeing.
we did a lot of good educational things on that trip, actually. Like, people probably like, they probably didn't do much but drank wine, because that's all you see on social media.
Yeah.
Like, I tried to post like all of like that kind of stuff, but like, you know, you're having wine everywhere you go and you're going to post your wine. But we literally we were educating each other and learning. Like, we were looking at all the ancient ruins and whatever.
It was super cool.
It was actually really cool. And then
the more wine you drink, the harder the plaques got to read. And then we were just confused.
and then you're trying to read it in like an Italian accent.
Yes.
It was so fun. I can't even really remember what else we did that day, though. Like, Coliseum. No, we did the Pantheon the next day.
Yeah.
She kept calling it like the
Panthelon.
Panthelon, and I'm like, Gina, learn what it's actually
I'm like, are we
called.
going to the Panthelon today? And she's like, Pantheon. And I'm like, Panthelon.
But that was the second day. So yeah, the first one we ended up. Oh, actually, no, we just did a lot of sightseeing the first day. Like, there wasn't really too much that we did.
Home.
And then we did a couple bar hopping scenarios. Did we go out for dinner?
I don't remember.
I think maybe we did have too much
I just
wine.
remember coming home and taking the pictures of the Coliseum at night.
Yeah, but what did we do that night? Why am I blanking?
I think we were just walking around and looking at all the like structures and all the like ancient ruins and whatever.
I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm thinking about. Okay, no, yeah. So that is what we did. Yes, we scooted home.
Yeah. And
Then we took a nap. That's what we did. So then we took a nap. Because our Airbnb host told us that people don't go out till really late at night, and I wanted to go out in the little area called Trastevere, but like in Italian, because I was trying to explain it to the Airbnb host, and they're like, Trastevere,
like Trastevere or something. We're like, yeah, here, like Trastevere, and they're like Trastevere.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, sure. This is where we want to go.
Anyways, so that's what we did. And then we ended up hitting the town, and like we kind of bounced around in a couple bars. Like, drinking there is so cheap. And we ended up at a nightclub just because we stumbled upon it, like Gina and I, and we like looked around, had a few drinks, and then we scooted home. Like, we literally, we just wanted to like see as much as we could, like what their nightlife was like. And so, yeah, we went there. We got some pizza. Remember we met that couple? We met a couple from
I really wanted
Miami.
Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And so we stopped at the only place that was open.
That pizza was actually really
like
good.
3 a.m. or something by then.
Yeah.
We didn't go out till 11.
No, people like go out and drink and do things late like they do in Vegas.
And
But yeah, no, we met a couple from Miami, and they were like so nice. So then they got some pizza with us, and then we scooted home.
And so the scooters there.
Okay, this is the best part.
The scooters are obviously the same as here. There's like Bird and Lime.
They have everything we have.
And then obviously a lot of the roads are cobblestone. So like that's totally fine. So we're on our scooters, and you know, like you're on the regular road, it's great. But then you hit the cobblestones and you're like you're like looking around, and you're just like, you know, shaking on your scooters. So that was probably like the most fun, was like scooting, but then you hit the cobblestones and you're just like
The best part is because I said to Gina, I was like, because like I'm scooting behind her because she was leading the way, because she would look it up on the maps and like direct us where to go, but she would just like put it in her brain. So I'd follow behind. But I'm on my scooter, and I'm like, my head's bobbling like crazy. And I was like, I probably look like such an idiot right now. But I'm looking at Gina, and it just looks like she's just scooting around like this. And like all that I'm feeling like is like I'm gyrating.
Yeah.
But she was too, but like from like an outside perspective, we weren't actually looking like that, but it sure fucking felt like we
sure
did. Like
did.
Your head was like full blown. Like I thought I was gonna eat it sometimes, and Gina was just gunning it. Like she had that bird on full crank, and I'm like hitting my brakes.
So I would like lose Allie all the time, because like I'm just like enjoying it. I'm going, you know, hitting 21. We're going down a hill. It's fun. I'd make a turn. I'm like left.
I was watching her, but I was really far behind
because I would have to stop and be like, oh shit, I lost her. But no,
she never lost me. I was always there. So yeah, so that was day one. Like that was only day one. And day two, we ended up, we were only going to do Rome for one day, but then I was told by a lot of people you have to do two. So we ended up booking, we only had 2 Airbnbs booked. Like everything else we booked as we were there, because we didn't really know what we were going to do, because our plans changed so many times.
Yeah. And we wanted to talk to people there and be like, where should we go? What do you guys recommend? And so
yeah, so we ended up booking our second Airbnb on the other side of like city center because we wanted to go and explore things across the way. So we went and got an early check-in for Airbnb, whatever, got ready and went out and did like the whole thing.
And Airbnbs there are so cool because they're all like lock boxes and codes. So you get to a door and you've got to like put a code in. You get to the next door, you've got to put a code in. You take a left turn and you got to put a code in. Like they're all these like different codes. So,
there
like,
were 3 codes to that second Airbnb, and all these Airbnbs have lifts, like and the little elevators that like only fit your luggage,
the old school
like
elevators.
So,
and we were on the 4th floor of that Airbnb.
Yeah, and the first day we get there, we didn't see the lift, so we were like lugging our luggage up 4 flights of stairs, and finally we found it after later.
One night we were coming back, someone was using the lift, and
Oh,
we're like,
that's right.
Oh, it actually works. Like, let's use it. But
Yeah.
Allie refuses to go in like any type of sketchy elevator.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Because like they're like the fully exposed ones, and if you don't close the inside door and the outside door, they don't run. They're old.
It gives me anxiety. Like everything gives me anxiety, but that gave me anxiety. Gina's like, get in. I was like, no thanks. I'll walk down those stairs.
I was the lift rider.
She was yeah, she was. So anyways, so the second day was the day that we did some shopping. I got some linen that day, and then we did some more sightseeing. We went to a church.
Oh, that's when we went to that like tall structure.
Yeah.
What was that thing called again? Pizza.
Navona Piazza.
Yeah. We went there.
Education. So we did that and did some shopping. What else did we do that day? Oh, there's a very famous Italian sandwich place that I wanted to go to so badly, and it was called Antica da Navona or something like that. Anyways, I was dying to go, and the lineup is always like 500 people long because it's such a busy, popular like sandwich place. So I made Gina come with me, and the lineup actually wasn't that bad. We probably waited only 5-10 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
Best sandwich I think I've ever had in my entire life. Like,
it was delicious. It was giant too. But the weird thing was, it's a giant sandwich.
It's like this big.
Focaccia?
Is that how they say it?
I don't know. The bread.
Focaccia bread.
And I asked him to cut it in half. I was like, oh, we're going to share it. Can you cut it in half? And he was like, no. And I thought he was just kidding.
So after I thought about that, actually, so in Italy, what I've read is they don't like you to share. So when you go out for food, say you and I went out and we wanted to just split a pizza, they don't like that. That's why when we went to that one pizza place and we each got a pizza, they don't like it. They don't like it when you share food. Like, it's like, because it's so cheap to eat, it's like, why do you have to share? Like, I mean,
anyways, we didn't need 2 sandwiches the sizes of our heads.
They were like this.
Yeah.
Girl measurements. They were like this. There's girl math and girl measurements. And girl measurements are like, when you measure something. Anyways. Okay, so yeah, sandwich was like my favorite part of day 2 because it was so good. It was like salami with like this like creamy, mayo-y, garlicky sauce. No, there was a sauce on it too. Remember, it was dripping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really
anyways, really good fucking sandwich. And then, so what did we? Okay, I am having a really hard time figuring out what we did day 2 night.
I think.
That was the pasta place with the lasagna.
That's right. And then that's right.
Okay, so whatever. We had a day. We did some sightseeing on day 2. Like, there wasn't really much to touch base on about day 2, but there was this pasta place. I did a lot of my research on TikTok because a lot of influencers post, the best places to go. So I found this pasta place that was insane. And I was like, okay, we have to go here for dinner. Like, I want to have, before we went out, we stopped and got that salami and cheese because we had salami and cheese before we went out.
Yes. So we wanted to stop at the grocery store and just get like a snack, salami, cheese, crackers, and some wine. And so we found a grocery store. We got like 100 grams of salami for like €2, 100 grams of like this. Oh no,
truffle cheese.
Block of cheese.
Yeah, we got a block
of cheese and some crackers. Then we saw a bottle of rosé at the store for $3.
It was €3. Like, it's so it's cheaper than water. Like, a bottle of water is €5. Yeah. Like, there's no wonder they all drink wine all the time and need a nap during the day because that's why. So anyways, we got our snacks, went back to Airbnb, had some snacks, took a nap, and then I was like, I want to go to this pasta place for dinner. It's got crazy good pasta. All I wanted was carbonara. So we nap, go to this pasta place, we scooted down, and then we get there and they just closed. But the place beside it was their like
Their
sister
restaurant. Like they all are.
They
the
probably
same
shared
owner.
the same kitchen. So they're
Yeah.
like, oh, come here. Like, you know, we're the same thing.
Yeah.
So we had like a mushroom truffle fettuccine
Yeah.
with cheese. It was so
So
good.
good.
And then we got lasagna too, and that was also good. We were actually talking about this the other day. I don't think we ate any chicken.
Yeah.
Like nothing while we were there.
We
It was
didn't eat any meat.
except salami.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Salami was the only
Yeah.
thing we ate. Like it was
And
just
pancetta.
and pancetta.
Yeah.
But that was only once.
Yeah. No, and like we were saying, like we ate so much carbs, like pizza, pasta, like nothing was like a plate of pasta with a side salad or like any vegetables.
There ain't no salads or vegetables there, let me tell you.
But I don't know. We were okay.
I thought that I was going to come back like legitimately having put on
Like
10
yeah.
pounds because when I eat a ton of carbs, I feel like absolute trash. Like the other day I had like a bagel and then I had like another carby meal and I was like, I feel like shit.
Yeah, but
Like
it was different out there.
it's because everything is so fresh and so like
And freshly made pasta, like that makes a difference.
like it's all just like I could eat pasta every day and probably not put on any weight.
Yeah,
like-
like I weighed myself before and after and I only put on 2 pounds and but we did a lot of walking. That was, I think, like the big like saving grace. You have to walk everywhere.
Yeah, like that is the thing. Like, and that's why, so we did have a car rental for the day that we landed. But I said to Gina, I was like, we should change it because what are we going to need a car for in Rome? Like, we don't.
Yeah.
The only reason why we wanted a car rental is because we wanted to get to point A to point B. That was it.
But
But
we had such a short amount of time. We wanted to go do all these things.
Yeah.
And our best friend, Tamara, told us, rent a car. And then Allie was like, how are we going to rent a car? They drive on the other side of the road.
I was so nervous, but that was not
She's like,
correct.
oh, wow, Gina, you're driving on the other side of the road? I was like, I guess so.
I
and-
thought it was a whole Europe thing, but it's just the UK that they drive on.
UK
And Australia.
Australia.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so anyways, so whatever, we didn't end up getting a car rental. So I said, Gina, like, we can train in and out of Rome. So let's get a car rental for day 3 because we were going from Rome to Tuscany, which was about 3.5,
Yeah.
4 hours
Yeah.
away. So, okay. So we go check out our Airbnb. Oh, I
No.
forgot the best part.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, no, we have something to speak about.
I got sidetracked there with, I don't know how.
It's okay. I was going to pull you back in. Okay, so we need to talk about how our night ended day 2.
After our truffle pasta.
Yeah, we had truffle pasta. We scoot back to our Airbnb. Okay, and then we're parking our little scoots, and this guy walks up to us. And we're like, okay, like, it's okay. We're good.
Had to open a window.
What does this guy say to us?
Okay, so this guy must have been either highly intoxicated or
On drugs.
on drugs because we park our scoots
We're like just waiting to take the picture.
and
right?
it was probably 1:00 in the morning. Like it wasn't too late and it wasn't too early. But we get up and as I can see, like coming down the cobblestone, like right about at our Airbnb, I can see like, you know, it's late and like you've got your like stragglers on the street. And I saw this guy before we had parked our bird and I was like, fuck, that guy looks sketchy. And so whatever, I'm so bad with parking my bird. I can never get the fucking kickstand down. So I'm trying to get my kickstand down and he's coming towards us and I can see he's about to say something to us and he just starts going crazy. He's like, I would fuck you both on ecstasy. And we were
Yeah,
like,
he's like, if I was on ecstasy, I'd fuck you two both like a gentleman. And me and Allie are like,
I'm like,
trying to take our
"Hey,
picture.
hey."
Like, okay.
end
We're
this ride.
We're still like about like a half a block away from our Airbnb. So we're like, great, this guy's gonna follow us. Now we have to punch in 16 codes to get up to our Airbnb. So you know I'm trying to get the codes up. This guy's like still kind of lingering.
And we didn't want to make it obvious that we were running, right? So we were like, we crossed the street and we started speed walking to our Airbnb. But like he didn't follow us.
No.
But like in our heads, we were like, he's going to. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna see where we went in. So like Gina's trying to like do the lockbox really quick. And like I'm like, go.
And we like get into the Airbnb.
And
we
slam
sprint
the
up
door.
Up the stairs, all like 4 flights, and then we get into the Airbnb and like lock the door. We're like,
Like we were so scared. Like it was, I mean, I think I was more scared of that guy than I was about us almost getting kidnapped 25 minutes into our trip.
yeah.
Like it was just, you know,
Because he wasn't in the right like state of mind.
Yeah.
And we were alone, and it was dark, and
in a place we don't know.
there was nobody around either.
No,
There
because everything was
nobody around.
closed.
Yeah.
Like, Anyways.
So that was the end of day 2.
Day 2 done.
We're like, okay, great. Day 3, we get a car. This is great.
Car rental.
So I booked the car rental. And I sent Allie the car rental where we're renting it from, and like it had a 1.4
1.4 stars
on
out
Google.
of 5.
Yeah, but she said like it's fine, it's probably fine, like it'll be okay. So
I need a drink.
we get so we have to go train all the way back to the airport because we picked the car from the airport. We get to the airport, we're waiting for the shuttle.
No, you were missing the fucking one part. I almost got into a fight with an Italian lady at the fucking train terminal.
Oh yeah.
So we literally get to the train terminal and so we go to buy our tickets again in one of those fucking stand-up booth things. So the girl in front of us is trying to buy her ticket, but she's getting errors and it keeps freezing. So she's like trying to get her ticket and there's a huge lineup behind us of people that are trying to buy train tickets. Now in this train station, there was probably only like 6 booths maybe, and all of them had lineups. Like it didn't matter where you went. And if you went to customer service to buy your tickets, there was also a lineup. Doesn't matter where you went, people were waiting.
Of course, the train was leaving in 5 minutes.
Like, oh, it always is. So we're in line. This girl's struggling. So finally she gives up because hers froze, whatever. So then Gina and I step up.
We push English.
This time we pressed English. Gina's trying to buy us train tickets back to the airport, but the thing keeps freezing. Like it would get to a step and then it would freeze. This bitch behind me goes, "Can you guys hurry up? There are people waiting that need to get their train." And I turned around and I said, "You think we don't? We obviously need to get our train too." And then she starts going like this and flailing her hands around, screaming at me. I was like, "If you don't relax, lady." And Gina's like,
I'm like, "Allie, it's okay. We're going to get on the train. Sorry."
She's screaming at us. No, and she's just screaming
So
at
anyways,
us.
we eventually give up. And then we figure out you can buy them online. So we get on our phone, we buy them online, quick and easy.
And then, but like we leave the frozen computer, and I was like, "Fuck this,
Because
bitch."
it's like all for our train. So we couldn't get out of it.
It was just like loading and it wouldn't do anything. So I was like, we stepped aside and then she's on the screen trying to fucking press buttons. And I'm like standing there like this. Yeah. Sucks, doesn't it?
She's super helpful in situations like that. It's really great.
I was so pissed. Anyways, finally we got our train ticket and we got on our train. Didn't buy first class this time though.
No, they were all first class.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was what we ended up finding out. We're like, "Oh, we don't want to buy first class. Let's just buy regular class." And then somebody behind us was like, "The only tickets are called first class because it's an express train. It takes you right from like the main terminal in Rome all the way to the airport."
Which is, it's obviously it's nice. But anyways, so we get to now we get to the airport and it says that there's a shuttle bus. Now, I'm a big Google review gal and I'm on this car rental company and I'm reading the Google reviews.
And she's already pissed off.
I'm already pissed off about this car rental because I thought it was a scam. So I'm like reading the Google reviews. It's like scam.
Don't
scam.
rent from here.
Don't go
This
here.
place is not real.
Yeah, it was bad. So now I'm getting pissed. I'm like, we should have never rented a fucking car. This is so stupid. Blah, 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 blah. So anyways, so I'm like, we're never going to find this shuttle. So finally, Gina keeps asking all these shuttle drivers, like, what was it even called?
Car something.
Anyways, whatever.
Sir Price car rental.
And then every like shuttle guy was like, "Go down there. It's down there. It's down there. It's down there." You wait. Blue van. Yeah. 10 minutes. So we're waiting.
30 minutes go by. Nothing. In the hot sun.
It
Standing
was
there in the
30
hot sun
degrees
with our luggage, waiting at this place for the shuttle.
Which didn't come.
The shuttle wasn't coming, and then
Gina's stomach took a turn for the worst. Now, there was no option but for her to go inside and go to the bathroom. Now, what do you think came while Gina was in the bathroom?
Yeah.
The fucking shuttle.
And Allie's already at like a 20 out of 10, pissed off. And so we get up to the shuttle and they say there's no room, wait for the next one. And Allie's like, "This, you want to go inside?" And I'm just like, whatever, like we'll get in a cab. So whatever. We get in a cab, we get to the car rental place. I think we
beat the shuttle. We did. I think we did.
Because we were like the third in line and then all these people came in.
Yeah. So thankfully, it worked out and we did get in line before the 8 people in the shuttle bus showed up. But the reviews on this shuttle thing, like the reason that it's such a bad shuttle company or car rental company is because people are showing up with not the correct things that they need. So Gina has car insurance, travel car insurance on her credit card, and she purchased a international driver's license.
Yeah.
Now the reviews were saying like, you know, they charge you 300 euros for this driver's license if you don't have it, which Gina came prepared with it. So the guy that's checking in front of us is getting charged out the ass for everything. He didn't have car insurance, so she's like, oh, that'll be 300 euros. He didn't have an international driver's license. She's like, that's also 300 euros. He didn't have like GPS in his car and he's freaking out. Anyways, he gets hit with like a 900 euro bill on top of his car rental price.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there sweating. I'm like, oh
texting
my
me.
God,
She's standing in the corner texting me. What's going on? Don't let them take advantage of you. This place is a scam. What are we doing? And I'm just standing there like, all my documents, just like, okay, it's probably going to be fine.
Gina's the calm, cool, and collected one. And I am just such a fiery disaster. Like, I get mad so easily. Like, I'm an Aries and she's a Taurus. So I think that's why I'm like the like...
So regardless, I get up to the counter. The lady's like, let me see all your documents. Blah, blah. I give her all the documents. She's like, do you want extra insurance? 300 euros. And I was like, nope. And then she's like, okay, here's your keys. Goodbye. She gives us paperwork. She gives me the keys. And so like,
didn't they put a $900 charge on your card?
Yeah,
though?
and then since I didn't buy
Did you
their
get that
insurance-
back?
Yeah, it's all
okay.
Since I didn't buy their insurance, they put a 900 euro hold on my credit card. And I'm like, if I get into an accident in Italy, which really with their driving could have happened.
We're not even at
the
the driving part yet. That's the craziest part.
Whatever. They did that. We go outside. We're just trying to click the car. They don't even show us. They don't do anything. They just say, here's the key, go outside the car somewhere in the lot.
Go find them in the 900 cars. There were so many cars out there.
We're
like
pushing the thing. It's not beeping. We can't find it. And it's also like a car we've never even seen. It's called a Lancia.
Lancia.
Yeah. And so we have to go back in and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I can't find the car. So she rolls her eyes, comes outside. She also can't find it. And then she finds it. It's there. So we're like, great. We take pictures. It's got scratches and bumps.
We do like a full cover our ass like video. I took a video of Gina. We're touching base on all the scratches. Like everything was documented.
So whatever. We get in the car and it's a standard car. And I've only driven like the stick shift I've driven is like a Honda or like a Volkswagen. And to get in reverse, there's like a spot for reverse or you have to like push down and put it in reverse. Now this car had some sort of other mechanism. So we're sitting in this car for like 30 minutes trying to Google how to put Lancia in reverse. I go inside to ask the lady.
She's watching a YouTube video.
I go inside to ask the lady and she's like, I'm busy. Can't you see I'm busy? And I'm like, oh God. And Allie's like, we're never going to get out of here. So we finally see some like random guy walking around the parking lot. I'm like, can you just show me how to put this car in reverse? And you ended up having to like pull this trigger up and then put it in reverse.
This is why I don't drive stick.
So anyways, we got it in reverse. We got out of there. We got our car. It was fine.
Okay, now, the road rules in Italy are fucking insane. Like, if you have ever driven in Italy, you would know this, but there are no rules. There are no rules when it comes to driving. So we got in our car rental and we drove to Tuscany. We stopped at a gas station and, filled up we got snacks. We got some snacks on the way out and like at the gas station, they serve wine. So I got myself some wine for the car. The speed limit in Italy is about 200. It is.
Kino is 130 on the highway.
Which in Italian is 190.
Yeah, nobody was going 130. Like, I was going 150 just to stay up with traffic. And then if I had to pass someone, I did 170. And then there was somebody behind me going like 200. And I'm in this stupid little Lancia. I've got to shift down to like fourth gear to even get it like moving to pass this person. So whatever. It was fine.
I was like stressing because we were going so fast. And I was like I drive a fast car myself and I have never hit 170. I've gone 140 fastest. Oh. This bitch is hitting 170. At one point I looked at the dash. She was at 190 and I was like, this is how we die.
She's like, you need to slow down. And I look behind me. I'm like, they're going to run us over.
So
what do you want me to do?
There were cars that would be like, so if we're like obviously watching, there would be cars, like if there's a car ahead of us in the left lane and a car approaches it, it will get into the left side of the shoulder to run you off to make sure you move
It
over.
will just go in front of you. It will just go next to you and just make you move. So you're always like very vigilant on like who's around me. Trucks were the worst.
Trucks were bad.
You were like behind, like in a lane they weren't in, and then they would just shift right over and then like move you out of the way, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. There was at one point when we saw a truck which we thought hit a car, like just to move it over. Like it was like
just like a little bump.
borderline, like so close to this car. Gina's like, it just hit it. I'm like, I don't think it hit it, but it was like a millimeter away from this car. It was so crazy. So finally we got to Tuscany. We made it. Now we rented a Tuscan villa. It was
cool.
Like a farmhouse, but the road to get to it was not on the map. So you have to, like, the Airbnb host was like, you have to go here and then turn a left and follow this, and then you'll see a rooster. And I'm like, a rooster? Like,
she was like, get to this town, drive through it, and then
drive
a left.
across the like little.
We didn't even know if we were in the right place. We get into this town. We're like, what part of the town do we just like? So we're like lost. We've just driven 3 hours. Whatever. We roll up to like this 3-way stop, and Allie calls them.
Well, we finally get to like, you can either go left or right. And so I send her a picture of like, there was like a sign. She's like, yeah, you're in the right spot. Turn left now. Go all the way up that, and you're there. You'll see like a gated whatever farmhouse, and you've arrived. So we finally get in, buzz the thing, pull into our like little farmhouse. We had this whole house to ourselves. We had 2 bedrooms, a kitchen. Like it was a huge like little. We had a pool.
Farmhouse kind of. It was so pretty.
It was so cool, but
right on a vineyard.
The Airbnb host obviously spoke English, but the other owner who lived in the other farmhouse that was beside it didn't speak a lick of English. Nothing. Like, so she comes out speaking to us in Italian, and Gina and I are just like, yep, okay,
yeah, sure.
Like trying to like understand, and we're
like, we don't speak Italian, and she keeps talking.
She just keeps
Italian.
talking to us, and we're like, okay, like she's like trying to give us our key, and we're like, okay, key, this door, our house. She's like, yeah, trying to find out which room we wanted.
What was she talking to us about? I thought she said like something about rats.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
She was trying to like tell us something, and it sounded like she had said rats, and I was like, rats? Like what rats? And then she just said like what bedroom. She wanted to know what bedroom we were
It had nothing to do with rats. There were no rats.
We were very confused. So it was beautiful.
But it was so nice because we've just gone from being in the city for two nights, and now we're up in a Tuscany vineyard, and it's like quiet. And it's like peaceful, and you can hear the crickets, and just like, it was just so nice.
And the best part was we were able to get a full Tuscan meal made by her when we got there. So she's like, if you give me enough notice, I can go into town, buy all the stuff, and you guys can have dinner. We'll make it for you.
Yeah, so I didn't see that really until we were about an hour away, and I had messaged the Airbnb host, and she's like, you know what, Bianca will make an exception. She'll cook for you guys tonight. We were like, oh my God, amazing. So we didn't have to stop. So we had this beautiful, she brought out a charcuterie board to start with all these meats and cheeses and like crackers and like fresh everything, you name it. Good. It was delicious. Yeah. And then they brought us out. They like their spaghetti.
Yeah.
We had another spaghetti.
No meat, just like a basil, tomato,
It was
garlic.
So good. It was so good.
And then, she had brought out a dessert.
And then dessert and another bottle of wine. So they were just, hospitality is at the top level here in Italy.
Yeah. So that was a nice, like, cool down day from, like, 2 busy days at Rome.
Yeah. It was nice and then we woke up in the morning and, like, we got a late checkout. So we sat by the pool. And we had donkeys on our, on the farm. There were donkeys and horses. And.
What's that?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Those little donkeys were so cute. Yeah. And so every morning, or in the morning, I went out and I was like talking to the donkeys. It was really fun.
She loves a good ass.
I got a good one myself. Anyways, okay, so that was Tuscany was very quick. Yeah. Like we just were in and out, and then so we wanted to go to this vineyard, and it's so popular that you cannot get a reservation for 4 to 6 months. Like it's impossible to get in. They only do walk-ins kind of.
If you're lucky. Like we want to go for lunch.
Yeah.
So we drive up there. We roll up to the front gate, and they're like, you can't park up here. And we're like, well, where do we park? They're like, go park over there. So we park. We take a shuttle up. Beautiful. It's like this mega
It was
vineyard.
Insane. Let me see if I can pull up a little.
I don't remember even what it's called.
It was called Antorini.
it was gorgeous. So we get up to this vineyard, we kind of look around, and then we go to like the main like little reception desk. We're like, is there any way you could fit us in for lunch? And they're like, they call up to the restaurant. They're like, let me see. And they're like, oh yes, what's your name? We'll fit you in for lunch. Go upstairs. We get upstairs. We tell the guy, like the hostess, they called up and they said they put us in for lunch. And the guy's like, no, I don't see that. There's no room, but let me just check. So he checks,
squeezed us in,
and we get this beautiful spot in this beautiful.
It was crazy. Like the views were just so insane because we were literally in just like winery country. Like it was just everything was green. Mm-hmm. We were like the way that they have the restaurant set up. It was vines. Like it was so pretty, and like we had like a duck ravioli or something. Duck, not ravioli. It wasn't ravioli. It was like
pasta
with duck. And we had these zucchini flour.
Ricotta,
it was like
cheese appetizers,
and it was deep fried. It was so good, but classic Allie. I'm like trying to cut into it, and like it's so peaceful in this like everyone's just like, enjoying their meal. Playing.
Allie's like
trying to cut it, and it wouldn't cut. What happened? I dropped my knife. Everyone looks at me, and I'm just like this.
Mortified.
Yeah. Like,
and she's like,
it was so awkward. Yeah. But it was so good. And then we just kind of like walked around. We bought some wine.
But that's definitely something I suggest. Like if you go somewhere and they say like, oh, reservations like months in advance.
Go.
If there's just two of you, like 99% of the time they can seat two people. Yeah. Like even some places we'd say like, oh, we'll sit at the bar. Like we'll sit anywhere. Like wherever you have like an extra chair. If you want to put a chair by the kitchen, we'll just sit there. Mm-hmm. So like that's something huge that I'd say like just show up and see if they can fit you in. Of course, if you've like 5-10 people, like no, you can't do that.
But it is easier definitely when you have two people. But yeah, if I had to give someone advice about Italy, like and they're trying to get somewhere, like I mean a lot of people pre-plan this stuff and we were just kind of going with the flow. But yeah, I would just show up because like this happened to us more than once. Like when we got to Florence, we wanted to go for, again, I had found another really popular pasta place and we same thing. They're like, do you have a reservation? And we're like, no, like is there any way we can kind of get in? They're like, 1 second. And then they squeezed us in again. Like we got really lucky for all the places that I wanted to have dinner. Like or like that I had saw that you needed to go to. So then after that, the next day, or sorry, that's the same day, we drove to Florence and we checked into our next Airbnb, which was the same thing. Lock, 10 flights of stairs.
And we had to call in for the buzzer to like let us in, and we both had European SIM cards, but the buzzer wasn't working. So Allie's standing there, she's freaking out because also this place review online said this place is a scam. Do not book there. And guess who booked that? I did.
She loves the scam places.
But it wasn't. Like some people just fake review. Some people it's a fake review. Okay, so anyways, we get into our Airbnb. It's beautiful. God. We're right in District 1 of Florence. We just walked around and ran into things. We're like, what's this place? Googled it, read a plaque, just like really like enjoyed the scenery.
We did a lot of that, like a lot of the
just
same
wandering.
Just wander, and then you find what you're looking for. And I really wanted to go to the wine windows in Florence, so that was what we did. And the lineup was crazy. But again, TikTok told me when you're in Florence, you have to go to a wine window. So I was like on the hunt for this one wine window, which I find. And the guy was being such a weirdo, like just such a creep, like wouldn't hand me my wine. And he's like staring at me like,
yeah. Like, and then like he
tricking me with the wine. I'm like, give me my fucking wine.
He wouldn't like let us pay until like I gave him my number. He was like, what's your number first? Then he'll let you pay. And like we're like, okay, fine. Here's the number. Like, please don't contact me. But like
they didn't contact you anyways.
No. But we just wanted our wine. Got whatever.
Just give me the wine. Yeah. You're just here for my wine window. Yeah. Here's your €5. Give me my glass.
We got our little cute TikTok. Went to the wine window. It was super cool, super cute. And then we just like wandered around. Oh, we bought our bracelets.
Oh yeah, these two bitches go to Italy and what do? Walk into Pandora and buy fucking charms in Pandora. Like,
yeah, but I got the Colosseum. I got a cute one.
I got a skull,
and she got a skull. So I don't know.
Well, people know me. I got skulls everywhere. I wanted.
Anyways, so that's one of our things we bought back from Italy.
Honestly, like that was it for Florence too. Like I wanted the wine window.
Yeah, and then the next day.
I need another drink if I'm going to tell this story.
Okay, go get yourself a drink.
I'm going to roll over there. You keep talking to the people.
Okay, so we talked to our like Airbnb host. We're like, where do we park? Only people who live in Florence can park downtown because it's like a certain whatever. So we drop our car off at this garage. It looks fine. It's a garage. It's like in Mexico.
Going live is fun.
You drop it off and then you give them a ticket and you tell them when you're going to come back and you pay when you pick it up. So they said call an hour before you want to pick up your car. So we called at 8. Thanks. We called at 8:30. Salute day.
Cheers. We called at 8:30 because we wanted our car for like 10 latest.
Yeah. We get there. They're like, you didn't call. And I like pull up like the thing on my phone. Okay, you go. Drink everywhere.
Sorry.
And I'm like, look, I called you at 8:30. And they're like, oh, well, you're going to have to wait. What do you say? 30 minutes, an hour?
No, we said an hour. You have to wait an hour. And then I'm like, what's the point of calling if we literally call down to have our car ready for 10 o'clock and now we have to wait till 11? And he's like, well, we're too busy. We can't go get your car. And I was like, then why did we call? I was so mad.
She's fuming. He's like, go get a drink, go get some food. And we had all our luggage. Like, we couldn't just we weren't just going to walk around.
Not on all that cobblestone again.
So whatever. We sit there, we're waiting. Allie's furious. She's fuming. She's looking outside the carport every 10 minutes. An hour rolls by. He comes back with their car. We pay, we leave.
And he's so rude when he brings the car back. Like, he literally, 3 of them disappear to go pick up this car, which was also really sketchy. And then here I am sitting in the car rental company reading these Google reviews. And it was like, they damaged my car. They took my car for a joyride. They did this. They did that. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, this car is going to be damaged when we get back.
So,
it's going to be so bad. This is terrible. This is not good. I'm stressed. And I'm like, fuck this guy. Fuck this place. I was so mad. So then he rolls up finally an hour later with the car rental. And Gina's like, thanks so much. And he just hands her the keys, doesn't say anything to us. And then I can see them talking shit about us while they're standing outside. They're like, because we're in the car, checking things. And we left stuff in the car too. So I'm in the back, looking in the back seat, making sure everything was still back there. And they're standing out front and I could see them talking. And I'm just oh, I've got my Google review ready.
So she's got a Google review ready. I'm like, can you please just wait till we drive away? I don't need no drama. So we drive away. Allie pushes submit for her Google review. What did your Google review say?
Okay. Let's just take a look here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it right away.
I feel like it said,
Oh, no, that's a different one.
I feel like it said something like, this place is a scam.
I didn't put it was a scam. I put, this is the worst garage to leave your car at. They say to call an hour ahead before you want your car. We called at 8:30 and they said our car would be ready by 10. We came down at 10 and they told us, oh, for fuck's sakes. And they told us we have to wait another hour. What is the point in calling if they make you wait anyways? Terrible. And the guy who grabbed our car was very rude. So it wasn't even I didn't say that it was a scam. I didn't say anything like that.
No.
I just said this is a shitty place to leave your car.
Yeah.
This guy was waiting for my Google review, I swear to God, because fucking 10 minutes into our car drive to the Amalfi Coast, I get an email and it's
so-and-so responded to your Google review.
I was
great.
Are you fucking kidding?
Listen to the response.
Before I tell you what the response is, on all of the Google reviews that were bad, saying this place was a terrible place, he automatically commented on it being fake review, fake review, fake review. And this garage has a 2-star review. It's literally all bad comments. So his way of acknowledging his shitty car rental or car park garage was to say everyone was lying. So he responds back to me 5 minutes after I read this review and was like, as always, I find myself responding to fake reviews because you only respected half an hour more than what was due because we had many cars leaving which piled up together. Maybe think about getting dressed before you come naked into the garage. Have a nice day.
I'm wearing a white shirt with linen shorts. Allie's wearing...
I had pants on. I had white linen pants on, and I had a tube top on with my pants. I could have been more naked, trust me. I could have rolled up in there because we were going to the beach right away. So I could have rolled up there in my bikini and my cover up.
So, but how could it be a fake review if you knew what we were wearing?
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Anyways, we got our car. I felt fine about it. She did not. It was fine. Now we have to drive 6 hours.
6 hours to the Amalfi
6
Coast.
hours from Florence all the way to Sorrento.
Which, with Gina driving 190, we got there in about 5 hours. So we finally make it. So we booked this Airbnb probably the day before, and I found this incredible Airbnb. It was a little pricey, but it was right on the water. Like,
beautiful.
if you follow us on Instagram, you saw probably when we got there and how you open the windows and you're like right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I book it, whatever. How often are you in Italy with your best friend? Like, fucking book the nice place. Like,
Hopefully
especially
maybe twice a year.
yeah. But like there are cheaper ways you could probably do Italy. Like the hostel that we did end up staying at the one night.
It was 100 Canadian
Wait
for
a
the private
second.
room.
This hostel. Sorry. We stayed at the hostel first. I
Still.
forgot about this. Okay, no, I jumped ahead. We actually stayed at the hostel first. So we booked
night, yeah.
a room at the hostel and it was $100.
It was a private
for both
room,
of us. Like,
whatever. We knew we were going to get in late and we just needed somewhere to sleep.
and like, what's the point of booking a really nice place when you're getting in at like 5, 6 o'clock?
And then you've got to check out at 10:30.
So we book a hostel for our arrival into Sorrento, but we actually stayed in Sant'Angelo, which is right beside Sorrento, which we didn't really care because we were going into Sorrento anyways the next day. So we booked this hostel. Now, driving into Sorrento was crazy because driving into the coast is like all downhill and loopy.
And like very small roads, but there's these mega buses on these roads taking up the whole road. And like you turn a corner and like literally you just hope no one's coming so that you don't like hit them head on.
Yeah,
Because they're just so tight.
And so when we finally like got into like the actual coast, we pulled over because we wanted to like take it all in. So we pulled over for a second. There was the cutest little man with like a little limoncello hut selling drinks. Like, it was so cute. Yeah. But anyways, we get in and I'm trying to navigate. Which was really nice. We had navigation on the car, but I'm also trying to navigate as well for her because the roads are so crazy. So finally we pull into
this is the worst.
Where our hostel is. Now, the hostel was actually so nice. Like, I would stay here again for sure.
It's called 7 Hostel.
Yeah, so nice. Yeah. If I was going to give a good Google review, it would be at that hostel.
And I ended up booking
She stayed there again because I
stayed
left.
there again and just booked a dorm, and it was like €20 for a 6-people dorm, and it was clean. So, okay, we pull up to the hostel. We can't find parking.
At first, we pull, like, on the road across the way and, like, park the car, and Gina's like, well, we'll just run in, check in, and then I'll move the car. And then I kind of look around and I was like, oh, there's a spot right in front. So
but it's like on a one-way.
A busy street. Like, there's cars everywhere. So I'm like, you see if you can just whoop, whoop, whoop.
Since the cars are so small, you can pretty much do like a 3-point turn and then like parallel into a spot. That was my plan.
So Gina whips this car around and we turn around, we back up. And we're wondering why there's all these people outside. Like, there was a church beside.
And there's, like, people standing across the street who get to watch me.
Who are staring at us trying to park in this little spot.
Make my 3-point turn. And then I, like, yelled at Allie. And I'm like, get out of the car so you can tell me how far to go. And so we're yelling back and forth at each other. And, like, how much further? And she's like, I don't know. Keep going. And I'm like, but tell me how much. So we're screaming at each other. And eventually we park the car. I'm sitting at the driver's seat. I look up. In front of me is a hearse. What comes out of the hearse? A coffin.
Is it a hearse or a hearse? I think it's a hearse.
Okay, a vehicle that holds coffins. What comes out of the vehicle? A coffin. The people walk across the street, bring the coffin in, and go to this funeral.
Attending a funeral. And Gina and I are screaming at each other, parking a car in front of the hostel, yelling. And these people are probably mourning over the loss of a loved one. And we're yelling at each other. And then
yeah. So anyway, that was very embarrassing. So yeah, we'll just keep that in our head for the rest of our lives.
It just, as unfortunate as may that person rest in peace, it was a really funny.
It was like a Seinfeld
It was
moment.
definitely, she kept bringing up Seinfeld. This is a Seinfeld moment. I'm like, it is a Seinfeld moment.
Yeah,
like,
it was good.
It's one of those things. It's something George would have done.
Anyway, so we get into the hostel, we check in, all is good. There's a rooftop bar. We go up there, we get some drinks, and then we go.
Bottles of wine were €5, so it was like, what? And then drinks were €6. So it's like, we might as well have just got a bottle of wine. So we drank, and then we
walked down to the beach.
The beach / like port for all the boats.
The way to get down to the beach is you had to take this switchback all the way down. It's like,
and it was like this. And guess who wore heels again?
On the cobblestones. I told her not to.
You know what? We're talking like I'm wearing a stiletto. Like, it was actually not bad to walk in a wedge. Like, it was fine because the heel was thicker.
A platform. It was a platform with like a thick heel. It was not a wedge.
It's a wedgy platform.
Anyways, I was wearing sandals. I had no problem. We go down. We have dinner. It's delicious. It was beautiful. We had a great dinner. He's telling us a way to get back up is this lift.
That dinner was so good, actually. I'm just thinking about how good that dinner was.
I know, when I asked him to wrap it up.
And he took it.
He didn't understand what I said. I was like, because I wanted to take it home and eat it later. And I was like, you're not going to eat it later. And whatever. Anyways, he didn't wrap it up. It was fine. He's telling us.
A seafood platter.
No, I got a seafood risotto. Anyways, so we walk back, or we're sitting there, and he's like, there's an elevator that you can take back up. We're like, oh, that's perfect, because she's obviously got her heels on. And it was €1.
€1 to take an elevator up.
So we get to the entrance of where this elevator is. There's no signs or anything. There's just like a gate and a lady like cleaning a bathroom. And to walk down this hallway.
Okay, so this was the little promo I did. So if those of you who watched the promo that I posted on my socials, this was the crazy like secret cavey looking alley tunnel, whatever the fuck it was. I felt like we were in Berlin. Like, I was terrified.
And it like smelled wet, and there was nobody in
there.
in
this
And as soon
tunnel.
as we get in here, the lady closes the gate and locks the gate. And we're like,
and I was like, this is where we die. This
like,
is 100% where we die.
This like rock tunnel, and it's like you can't see the end. There's no signs. It doesn't say lift. It just like is an endless tunnel. It had lights on. So whatever, we walk in it, we get scared, we run.
Start running, there's noises, and like finally we turn this corner and find the elevator. And then this couple gets off. So we're like, okay, we're in the right spot. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, well, who do we give this €1 to? Like, I don't understand how we're using this elevator and just
going up.
So finally we get up, and there's like a guy sitting in a little booth, and you know what? He probably didn't even want our euros, but I was like, here's €1.
Yeah.
Like, it was so fucked. But anyways, and then we walked our way back to our hostel, and that was it.
That was it. We went to bed.
Yeah. And then
we got up early because we have to check out at 10:30 every day. It's wake up, pack your bags, check out.
Like, we had, and like, the trip already started with me having a hard time with my luggage, and let alone having to do this every day.
And
so
then we bought, some bottles of wine at the winery, and then we bought some cheese. And so now we're like accumulating these things, and we're like, okay, we need to leave some things. Like, we bought like a whole box of crackers that came with like
400 crackers.
And we're like, okay, like we'll take 2 packages and we're leaving the rest. So like, we're just trying to like leave things places because now we have too much.
Because we have too much. Yeah. And like, it's so cheap to buy stuff there. So like, if we had to leave something every day, like we didn't really care. So anyway, so we check out of the hostel, and then that day I found this Airbnb that was right on the water in Sorrento. It was like $465 for 2 nights, which is definitely a little bit more pricey, but everything else we had been doing was kind of in that range, and we were staying in rooms and stuff. I was like, this is a whole apartment.
$230 a night, and that place was like $230 a night. And it was beautiful. It was a whole house. Well, it was an apartment in I don't know what to call it.
Oh my God, I'm thinking about the angry Italian lady.
Okay, so we roll up.
Oh wait, but
the parking again, the car anxiety. So we asked the guy, we always try to ask them where we can park. We've got this car. So we asked the guy, and he's like, oh, drive to the end of this street and there's a place to park. So we get to this little street. It's on the water, but it's filled with restaurants and chairs and tables. And so we roll up, literally pull in front of like
with our little Lancia, and it's like driving down the fucking boardwalk.
And this guy like comes out of his little shop, and he's like, you can't park there. The police are going to get mad at you. And we're like showing him like where the host told us to park and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you can't park there.
He's like, you can't even be down here. How did you get down here? And he's like, if the police come, you're going to be in trouble. And now my anxiety, boom, has spiked. I'm like, fuck, Gina, get the car.
And I'm just like, I just want to drop our luggage off. I don't want to like drag it down the cobblestones. But no.
I was stressing. And then this guy was like, it's fine. If the policia come, you're my girlfriend. And we were like, how's that going to get us out of a ticket?
So anyways, whatever. We move the car. We drive up the street a bit. There's another parking garage. Of course, this man speaks not a drop of English. So we do Google Translate on our phone. We're like, yeah, we're going to be back in like 2 days to get the car. Great, whatever. We drop the car off. All is good. That night, I think we just like ended up going out for dinner and hanging out at the Airbnb.
So we parked the car, and then we where did we get all that meat from? Oh, we stopped on our way. Remember? We stopped at a grocery
the
store.
grocery store.
Yeah, okay. So we got some snacks and stuff to take with us back to the house. And so we had like a little snack. We made a sandwich. And then we went out and just kind of explored a little bit. And then we went and booked our boat for the next day because we were doing a boat tour to Capri, which 25 out of 10 recommend because it was the coolest experience.
And it was only...
It was 150 Canadian.
It was
Wasn't
100 euros, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at 105, because that was the cheapest place we could
so
find.
150 Canadian.
Yeah.
And
it was amazing. 10 out of 10.
So yeah, I think the first day in Toronto we didn't do much. We shopped, and then we went out for dinner.
Yeah, we just had like a really chill.
Wasn't that the night? Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's all kind of meshing together at this point.
I feel like once we got to Sorrento, we just kind of like chilled. We like beached, we shopped. It was very much like we were so happy to not have to wake up every day and like
because now we have a
bags.
place that we're staying for like 3 days.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we're finally not having to lug up and change our location.
No.
So it was perfect though because we booked our boat tour for the next day. So we had like a chill night, had dinner, whatever. The boat tour the next day was across from where we were. So it's like we literally rolled up 30 seconds before we had to get on our boat. Like it was perfect. And then we took a boat to Capri. Now, I'm not a big water gal. I hate water. I don't like boats. I don't like being anywhere near the water. And we get in this boat and like I'm holding on for dear life. Like my hands are clenched on the side of this boat. And
there's like a front,
8
like a
of
bunch
us.
of cushions where you could sit on, and then there's like the seats around where the like guy's like steering. And so Allie's sitting on the side, like holding on to dear life. And like I'm sitting at the front, like enjoying it. It's like bouncing around.
And he's like telling us, go sit up there, go sit at the front of the boat. And I was like, fuck
no, and
that.
Allie's like holding on with like white knuckles and whatever. That was definitely like one of the highlights is doing that boat tour, because not only did they take us to Capri, they took us around like
the
Sorrento,
whole island.
And we were hoping to go into the Blue Grotto, but the water
was
so
too high. Yeah.
You couldn't get into it. So whatever.
Nobody could go in.
Like, I feel like we saw lots of things that would be very similar to what the Blue Grotto would be. Like,
Well,
lots of little caves.
Yeah, and like about 40 minutes into that boat ride, he parked and was like, swim time. And I was like, yo, we just got on the boat. I don't want to ruin my
And
hair
then,
yet.
like, people were swimming and he was throwing bread into the water and all the fish were jumping around and the people are swimming around with all the fish eating all the crumbs. And Allie's like, yeah, there's no way I'm
Not a
doing
fucking
that.
chance would I be going in there. And then I said to Gina, I was like, okay, yeah, go in. I was like, but your hair is going to be ruined for the rest of the photos. She's like, good point. Because like I thought the swimming was at the end, you know, like after the whole tour, you know, you get in, you're doing a little fresh up and then you go home. But no, it was right away. So I was like, I didn't want to ruin my hair. I wanted to take pictures. I wanted to like be able to have nice photos. And I'm like, my hair goes gross when it gets wet. So anyways, not like I would have went in anyways.
But yeah, that was super cool. We got to see lots of really like pretty things, and it really wasn't that expensive. We pull up to Capri, we get off. Capri like is obviously built on like a mountain.
It's so nice.
You get off and we're like, okay, let's go to the top and look at the shops. We get like maybe a quarter of the way up and we're like, yeah, no, I don't think we have it in us. We wanted just some pizza and wine. So we walk all the way back down to the beach.
Like we didn't even get halfway up. I was like, I bet you there's no more shops up here. And we're like just so out of breath because it was like hot and it was uphill.
Degrees. And of course, we're too cheap to get in a car. There was taxis.
There was taxis.
We probably hindsight should have just paid whatever 10 euros to get in a taxi. Whatever. We get back to the bottom. We're like, let's get some pizza and wine. We stop at a few.
Oh my god, I forgot about this bitch.
We stop at a few different places and we wanted to have like a really nice little viewpoint because it has beautiful viewpoints. So we get to this one place and she's like, okay, I can sit you here. And it was like in the middle of the restaurant, but there was all these tables on the edge that
which were on the
nice,
water,
like view. And we're like, oh, like, can we have one of those tables? And she's like, no, it's reserved for the beach club. So
and I'm like, what beach club?
So like, whatever. Let's go check out a few other shops. We're like, we just want pizza, but everywhere just had like pasta.
It was like, yeah.
Like dinner. And so we have to walk our way back to the shop where the girl was like, didn't already like us. So we get there and we're like, oh yeah, just for two. And she's like, no more tables. Ha ha.
Like she laughed like that. And Gina and I were like, what? And the restaurant was empty. There were 3 people sitting in there. She's like, I don't have any more tables. I was like,
and she was like this like bigger girl, and she just like I don't know. She was just not nice. Even when we rolled up there and we're like, we want that table. She's like, no. So anyway, she laughs in our faces and won't give us pizza or won't give us a table. So now we have to order takeout pizza and find a spot on the beach. Now, 10 boats have rolled in with like 20 people each on each boat. So there was no room on the beach. So now this one is like, you know, a little frantic. We're waiting for this pizza. We have nowhere to sit. She's going to get us drinks. And I'm like scoping. You know, when you're like at a beach and you're like, okay, if anybody leaves, I'm taking that spot. So like I see somebody like get up and I like sprint to it. Allie's like getting the drinks and she's got her bag and she's like, I need help carrying this. And I'm like, I got us a spot. Like, come get over here. Put your stuff down. So whatever. We get our stuff. We get our pizza. We get our drinks. Capri was beautiful. Blue water.
It was really
Oh,
nice.
this is the rocks.
Okay, it's not sand. It's
a
rocks.
rocky beach.
So it's just like
pebbles, like soft pebbles, but like when you walk on obviously rocks, it hurts.
Like
And
it
so
was terrible. Like I wanted to go in the water and my
she
feet are
was
hurting.
miserable the whole time.
I belong just like on the end of the boat with the
Yeah, I think she would have been
breeze.
happier just sitting on the boat waiting for everybody to come back.
I would have been happy just tanning on the boat. Like I probably would have been happy doing
Yeah.
that. Like that would have been actually
But
quite
whatever,
nice.
it was cool. It was pretty. We did our little bit of Capri. We go to get on our boat. We're missing 2 people. That older couple was that older couple was not there.
They weren't having it, I don't think. They didn't have a good time.
I don't know. Well, whatever. But we met like some beautiful souls, some lovely humans, some people from Canada.
From Vancouver. Like the people that actually everyone on our boat was from Canada.
The girl,
Except that one couple were
from Ontario.
Yeah, they were from
Was
Toronto.
it Toronto?
That other couple was from Ireland, but they live in Vancouver.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and that other couple was from
I don't remember.
Scotland as well.
Oh yeah,
But like the other 2 couples were from Canada.
Canada.
Which was a lot of people. Like we even like when we were at the hostel, like we didn't really like we're not very friendly sometimes, and so
I am. You're not.
I'm not friendly.
She's-
I hate people.
She has an RFB,
I do.
and everybody thinks we're so mean.
RBF.
RSB. Oh yeah.
RFB. Yeah, no, I know we were like these 2 dudes were like trying to talk to us and they're like, "Oh, we're from Toronto." And I was like, "Okay."
We're like, that's cool. They're
Don't
like,
give a
do you want to
fuck.
come to dinner with us?
No, thanks. I'd rather kill myself.
That's not nice.
Okay, that was that.
And we're like, yeah, no, that's okay. We're gonna go to dinner somewhere else. So then they told us where they're going to dinner. So Allie's panicking because she's thinking we're gonna run into them. So we had to look up where they're going and where we're going. And anyways,
I'm
we
not
didn't-
nice. I'm not nice.
I think you're fine. You're just whatever.
Sometimes I'm not nice. Because remember that couple we met when we went for dinner
Well, that was
from
that was-
Toronto?
that was that place.
No. Oh, that was this night.
Yeah, that was that
Oh,
night.
yeah, right,
we met
okay.
this like, oh my god, the most beautiful couple.
They just got married. Didn't they?
No, that was on the boat. No, we met a couple that was from the
Nope.
older couple who ate where we ate the risotto, and they
No.
had like a kid who was going to
Okay, yeah,
school.
that couple. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about the couple when
Who
we
just
went
got
to
married.
when we went to that pasta place from Toronto. She gave me her phone number. She's from Toronto. They were sitting beside us. We got that reservation that
Right. Oh yes. That was in Sorrento.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that night. Yeah. Okay. There's so many things that
It's all
happen.
meshing
It's all
together.
mesh.
Anyways, we got back from Capri and I got a really bad sunburn because Italians don't burn. And
Someone wouldn't wear sunblock. And the amount of times I have traveled with her and I say, Allie, put on sunblock.
I wear it on my face.
She's like, I don't want to. I'm like, you're gonna get a burn. She's no, I'm not.
I had like
It's
little-
kind of almost still there.
it is still there. You can see it right
She
here.
of course wears the like
crisscross.
dumbest bathing suit to tan in. She always wears like something that has some sort of like weird thing so she'll get tan lines.
I wasn't really thinking that through, but like I got such a bad burn that it was. You can see it still. You see
still
that
see it,
line
yeah,
right
yeah.
there. But I was red. Like I was so
and
red.
she was miserable. And then she went
I was, like,
buy
crying.
aloe because she was leaving like in a few days. And she's like, I'm not going to take this aloe back with me. And anyway, she was miserable. So maybe one day she'll learn how to put on sunblock.
I'm always miserable. Apparently, I don't sound like the friendliest in this podcast today. I had some times with some Italian people. Okay, okay. So that was Capri. I left the next day, didn't I?
You must have.
I did. Okay. This is going to tie us into the end of this episode with how my trip ended back. Now, we were all the way in Sorrento. Now, Sorrento to Rome is about 4 hours. I was flying home from Rome. I am not a solo traveler, nor would I ever be, because I have crippling anxiety. And I get anxiety over the wind blowing the wrong way. Like my anxiety sets in no matter what I do. Now, in my head, I was like, okay, you know what? So what we had to do is, because Gina wasn't going to drive me 4 hours and I didn't expect that. We were going to Naples. I was going to train from Naples to Rome, but there was no train that went Naples to the airport. So I had to go Naples to city center and then city center to the airport.
And I wanted to stay longer because I wanted to go diving in Sorrento.
Gina had some things that she wanted to do that just is not what I would be doing. So I was happy to go home and she was happy to do her thing for a few more days.
I can solo travel.
She's a solo traveler. I'm not. I hate it. I don't like being alone. My anxiety is it's too much. Now, my other bestie, Ben, was at work. So he was getting the live updates of my stress. Now, with the time change, it worked out because he got to hear all about my stress. Now, in my head, I said, okay, I'm going to book the 9:35 train from Naples to Rome. That gets in at 10:45, and I will book the 11:02 train from Rome City Center to the airport. It's only an hour from Sorrento to Naples. Me being dumb, not cluing in about the Italian traffic.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe we should leave a bit earlier, blah, blah, blah. And we talk about it. It's like, no, like we'll leave at 8 a.m.
I said morning. 8 because then I was like, oh, it gives me a half an hour to find my train.
Well.
So finally we leave at 8. And the traffic is against us. Now, it kept the fucking GPS on the car. It was like 38 minutes. And then it would jump to 56 minutes. And then it would jump to an hour 10. And then it would go back down to 48 minutes. And then it would jump back up to an hour. And I was like, oh my God.
Like panicking in the passenger seat. I've got the GPS on, like where I have to go. I've got to do all these like crazy turns. And she's just sitting there on their phone freaking out.
Because I'm texting Ben.
I need you to like guide me. Like you need to be watching the road. And she's like, I'm not making it on this plane. I'm not leaving. And I'm like, oh my God.
I was literally stressed because out of Naples, if I wanted to get to Rome, I would have to wait another hour for another train. So it was like that 9:30 train was the only train I could take that would make me make this flight.
I'm like passing people on the right side, on the left side. I'm just like driving like the Italians. Like, I'm like, I've got this.
She fit in. She did really well. But my stress and anxiety have now hit an all-time high because if I don't make this train, I'm not getting home today because I would miss my flight. Because I had to check my bag because I bought a present for someone that was liquid that needed my bag to be checked. Plus, I had bought an additional bag, which I had all these snacks in, so I didn't have a choice. I had to check my bag. So Ben's texting me. He's like, where are you from the train station? It's about 9:20 at this point, and the train leaves at 9:35. And I'm like, it says we're still 15 minutes away. And I'm stressing. Gina's like weaving in and out of traffic and she's getting it up and like she's making it. Finally, we're like pulling up to the Naples train station and I have about 5 minutes to make this train. And she's like, we're not even at the train station yet, but like all the cars are pulling over to like drop people off. And she's like, ask someone if this is the train station, ask. And I was like, you ask. And so she's like, is this the train station? And people are like, yeah. And I get out of the car.
I pull in before I'm even parked. She gets out. She grabs her stuff. She's gone. I'm like,
gone. I didn't even say bye to Gina. I was like, I have to go bye. Like I have 4 minutes now to make this train. Thankfully, I already bought my ticket, which was one of the smarter things I've ever done. So I get into this train station and I'm like fucking lost. Like I don't know where to go. And I'm like looking all over the place and I'm like, do I go left? Do I go right? And then finally I see a board with all the train like times and stuff. And I was like, that's got to be the way. So I'm sprinting, like out of breath already. I get through, scan the QR code. I'm like, what train? And I'm like asking for help. And like people are like, that one. So I like run over. There's lineups. I get on the train, door closes. Like I got on that train with 1 second to spare. Like I couldn't breathe. I'm sweating to death. I'm literally like,
and I'm like, I got 3 more days in Italy.
I'm like dying at this point. I was like, that's so fucked. And then so Ben's texting me. He's like, did you get on? And I was like, I got on and the door closed as soon as I stepped on the train. He's like, okay, you're good. Now the next problem arises is when we pull into the Rome city center. So in my head, I said, okay, my train gets in at 10:45. I can book the 11:05 because that gives me 20 minutes to, find my train, navigate. That's lots of time. But My train didn't actually get in at 10:45. So Ben's like texting me. He's like, "Are you there? Are you there?" I was like, he's like, "It says your train has arrived on the app." And I was like, "Ben, I'm just idling. Like our train is just like this."
Oh yeah, it's like the
Like,
doors didn't open.
No, because we weren't even at the station yet. So we're just like,
Oh.
it says we've arrived, but like obviously other trains were still leaving.
Yeah,
So it's
you're
waiting for its
turn.
slot to pull in. So Ben's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm still on the fucking train." And I was like about to cry. I was like, because if I miss this one, I'm fucked. Like I will be stuck in Rome for a day. Which I should have just went to Rome the night before. Like this is just, now that I think about it, I'm like, this was probably.
So like we talked about it, and then she's like, "Nah, like whatever, it's fine." Because I booked that Airbnb. We had stayed there for 2 nights, and I booked an additional night. She's like, "It's fine, and if I don't make the flight, I'll just come back to Sorrento." No, this is not realistic. Like realistic.
Not
planning.
realizing how far it actually is.
Yeah,
like
it was far. And thank God she took the train, because when I drove back to
yeah,
Rome
she got stuck in traffic.
from Sorrento, it took me like 4 hours, and it was only supposed to take me maybe 2.5, 3, and with my driving. So anyways, she gets on her train. She gets on the next train.
Okay, so we're idling still, and it's about 10:55, and I now have 10 minutes to make this next train, and I'm
Anxiety.
still idling. And then finally, it's like rolling in. It's about 10:58 because I remember, because I was like, I have 7 minutes to figure out where the fuck to go next. So obviously, everyone's trying to get off the train, and this bitch that was sitting beside me was like rolling her eyes at me the whole time. And I was like, "Can you move? Like, I need to get off." And she's like sitting there, and she was so mad. Like, she was so annoyed that I was sitting beside her too. Like, she was not very nice. So anyways, finally I get off. I get my luggage, which there was nowhere for me to put my luggage when I got on the first train. So I had to put it behind a chair. It was a fucking nightmare. Grab my luggage, get off. I start running, and people are just moseying out
Nobody
of the
is
train.
in a hurry in Italy.
Like
they're in a hurry when they're driving, but when they're anywhere else, they're like, doo, 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 doo.
Oh my God. So I'm just like in panic mode because I have now 4 minutes to make this train. So fine, like I'm running through, and there's 24 trains. So it goes 1 to 24, and I get off at like 7, and I like find someone finally. I was like, "Where is this?" It's like my train number was like 4690 or something like that. And she's like looking at my phone, and she's like, and I was like, "Where is this going?" And she like takes my phone, and then my pickpocket mind sets in. I'm like, this bitch is gonna take my phone. And so then finally she's like at the board, and she's like 24. Of course it's the last train. I'm sprinting. I have 2 minutes. It's 11:03, and I'm running through the crowds. I can't breathe. I'm sweating. I probably smelled so bad. So I finally like find the train, and there's a huge lineup to get on the train. And I was like, they're not going to wait for all these people to get on the train. So I look ahead, and there was no lineup for like the third door up. So I like run up, get on. What happens? Door closes. I was like, oh my.
The text messages I got when I was on that train. I'm never going on a train again. I'm never doing this. I want to get home.
Oh my God, it was so bad. Like I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I made it, because if I didn't, like I said, I would have been so screwed. So I finally get on, everyone's on, I'm standing on this train, and then this lady's standing beside me, and there's like a little, like by the exit doors, like chairs that flip down.
Mm.
So her and I are like sitting on these like little flip down chairs, and I was like, I couldn't breathe. I was like, like gasping for air. Finally, I get in to the airport, whatever. I had some time because I made these trains. But I like had to go change, and of course there's a huge lineup in the bathroom because there was only 4 stalls. So I'm like sitting there like gasping for the airport's probably about 40 degrees. The airport was so hot, and I was like, I need to change. I smell. I need to take a wet wipe to myself. Like I need to just calm down. I need to cool my jets. And then I got in line to check in, and everything was fine after that. It's very interesting though. Did you notice though, like all the food places are upstairs. Like there's nothing by the gates.
Yeah.
So anyways, I had 10 euros left. Like that's all I planned all my cash so perfectly that I had 10 euros left. I was like, I don't need to bring this home with me. So I ended up getting 2 glasses of wine, slammed those back, and then I made my flight. Like, I don't know how I made it.
Yeah, whereas like I stayed a night before in Rome and then went to the train station that morning, and went to the airport that morning, and I got to go sit in the lounge. I got myself some food. I got myself some wine. And like then I moseyed on over to the gate.
Yeah, I didn't get that luxury. I had to mad dash like an idiot.
Okay, what are takeaways from our trip?
The
Let's go for some
takeaways. let's see here.
Okay, takeaways. If you want to go to a restaurant and they're booked and there's like 2 of you, just show up.
Yeah.
Just try. A car.
Car rental.
A car rental was...
Don't rent a car if you're just going to Rome, though. There's
Yeah.
no car rental. If you are planning to go, you know, other places, definitely rent a car. But if you were planning to stay in Rome for a few days, don't rent a car and go to Rome. Rent it after you're in Rome.
If you are a nervous driver, do not rent a car.
I'm not a nervous driver here. I fucking rip it in my car here. Not in Italy, though.
If you are a nervous driver in somewhere that's really busy and has no rules, I do not recommend you renting a car. Because I think if you drove, you would just be panicking.
I wouldn't have been panicking, but I wouldn't have been doing 190.
Okay, so I'd say rent a car.
Yeah.
What else?
Do the boat tour to Capri for
Capri,
sure. Like,
yeah.
make sure if you go 100% book something like that, because I am very glad we did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little sad. You know what? As much as I'm a week traveler, like I can do 10 days max for me, but I do kind of wish I stayed longer because I wanted to go to Sicily. A couple of my friends were there the same time we were there, and they were down in Sicily, and the pictures looked amazing. So if you have the time, I mean, we didn't go, but I would recommend doing Sicily. Capri, yeah.
Stay in the city that you're flying out of the night before, perhaps. Just explore. Like, don't be scared of not like booking too many things. Just enjoy your time and explore. I'd say Airbnbs were great, super easy to book.
Even a hostel was great. If you are like wanting to do it
traveler,
cheap, I would do a hostel for sure, because you can do it cheaper that way.
Yeah.
Even for the two of us for $100 a night.
Mm-hmm. And then I stayed in the hostel
For 20 euros.
Yeah, 20 euros. And it was a shared room and everybody was lovely. And it's a great way to meet people.
The one thing that I probably would recommend, something that we didn't do, was actually, maybe plan some things ahead of time. Like,
maybe do a little bit more research.
Maybe a little bit more research than we did, because
I feel like we missed out on some things that we could have done. But we said we'll just go back. Because we want to do the north. We have to still do the north.
Yeah, I would like to go to Venice and Milan. I think that would be really cool,
so
actually.
I would say, like,
I would like to stay in Tuscany longer. I wish we did Tuscany longer.
Yeah. Don't be scared to travel abroad. Even if you don't know the language.
Listen, don't be afraid of the pickpockets, because...
or the transit.
If you're, I can't. I don't like transit.
We still did it. Yeah, but the train from the airport to city center was good.
Yeah, it was fine. But like, if you know what, like I said, if you plan your things out better, like I could have planned this out better, but I didn't. I did this in a mad dash at the end, like the last day. And the last thing you want on the end of your trip is to be in that scenario.
And missing your flight.
Stay in Rome before you fly out, or fly home from Naples.
Yeah.
Which you can do, which I probably should have just done.
Yeah. But I'd say, like, all in all, it was a great trip. It was different. It was different than any of the trips we've ever done.
Yeah. And you know what? That's my second Europe trip. So like, I'm starting to really enjoy Europe. I would like.
First time I've touched European soil.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been to Europe before.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's my second time in Europe. So, okay.
So.
All right. Well, we recommend Europe. Take Euros. Get an international driver's license.
Yeah, you need it.
And most importantly, drink the wine, have fun. Don't worry about your spendings, because it's usually once in a lifetime opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I spent only about $500 over my budget, which is really not that bad. I budgeted $2,000 and I spent about $2,500.
I'm not talking
Don't
about
ask
my
about
budget.
what Gina.
I spent a bit more because I dove and rented and did a bunch of extra things and I stayed longer, but it was fine. So like, if your best friend asks you to book a trip and go to Italy, take the trip.
Take it, because you know what? I'm not going to lie. I was debating canceling. I was having a little bit of anxiety about going away so far and being away from, my family and everything, or my family.
Your dogs.
My dogs.
Her children. Those are her children. So
they are my children.
Yeah, I would say just do it. Do it. You know what? The money will come and go.
You can't take your money with you when you die.
Yeah. So I think all in all, it was a great trip.
Yeah. So do it. Love it. Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love. Let me tell you about Italy.
I didn't, but we thought it would be cute to wear our little lemon shirts. So if you are tuning in, make sure you watch this episode on video, because the most important part about this video is watching Gina ride a scooter on cobblestone. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Thank you for listening to our Italy recap. We had a really good time.
Tune in on our next trip, which will be
I don't know. What is our next trip?
the Dominican.
Oh, yeah, right. We
Yeah.
are going to the Dominican in January.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Gina, for joining and always being a great co-host.
Always. No
Cheers
problem.
to that. And cheers to Italy and the recap. And love y'all.